Today it's about the top 9 grains for freshly milled bread. And I'm going to start with the worst to the best. But I'm also going to give you some foodie notes. In other words, what are some tips on how to use each one of the grains because they're all good and get the best results. If you're milling your own grain, but you're still getting dense, heavy, and bland bread, the problem isn't your mill, it's your grain. Every grain has its own personality. It could be buttery, nutty, sweet, earthy, and it dramatically affects how your bread tastes and also how it rises. Well, today I'm ranking the top 9 grains for freshly milled bread. And I'm going to start with the least good one for baking and lead you all the way up to the very best for baking. And it's based on flavor, versatility, gluten strength, and just real-world baking results. Thanks for watching. I'm Annette Reeder from the biblicalnutritionist.com, and I love sharing with you God's recipe for excellent health. And remember, He is the one who created you. Now, let's start with grain number 1. So we're going to start with millet. I love millet, yet it would not make a good loaf of bread. It's gluten-free, it's slightly sweet, and it brings a golden color. Now, I made some of these chocolate chip muffins with millet. You can kind of see the little dots in there. That's the millet. Millet adds a sweet, mild flavor. It adds tenderness. You can mill it into a flour, or you could just keep it whole like I did in these muffins. It's a bright yellow crumb. Now, the downside of it, there's no gluten. So it's crumbly, it's chalky if it's used in if you use too much of it in your bread. So I just use it as kind of like sweet, wonder what's in that bread, little bites of flavor. It tastes kind of sunny light, it's warm, subtly sweet, and it softens the bread when you mill it. It doesn't offer much structure though. Now here's your foodie notes. Can it be used alone? No. It has to be blended with something else. So 20 to 30% of millet could be added with 80% of white wheat. Or 15% of millet could be 15% of oats and 70% of regular wheat. So a lot of different ways you can do it. So number 1 is millet. Number 2 is oat berries. Oats are just a fabulous flavor of enhancer and a good grain to work with. They add in extra moisture. In fact, one of the ladies I worked with in the very beginning of doing this ministry, her name was Joyce Rogers, and she's Adrian Rogers' widow, and she used to tell me, my secret to my bread was I always added 1 cup of oat flour. No one could figure out what I was doing. I just love her, and she's always been an encouragement to me in this ministry. Now, oats is a fantastic supporting grain. It adds extra moisture, just extra flavor. It's soft. It has a creamy crumb. It's heartwarming flavor. Just as oatmeal has that heartwarming sensation to your gut, it does the same for bread. Now, the downside of using oats in your bread making is that's 0 gluten, okay? It's going to get gummy if you have too high a percentage of oats in your flour. So here's your foodie take. Oats taste creamy and are comforting, like bread crossed with a warm bowl of porridge. Use it alone? No, you can never use it alone. We're talking about bread. The best combinations are going to be about 20% oat and 80% wheat, and that's going to give you a super soft loaf of bread. Now, add porridge for hydration. Yeah, have you ever done that? You could just take a cup of your oatmeal, like, oh, the kids didn't eat all the oatmeal, put it in your bread. You'll be shocked at the outcome. Okay, not too much, just a little bit. Number 7 is Einkorn. And Einkorn is one of the oldest wheats in the world. Definitely, it's very popular today, which I'm excited about. The good news about Einkorn is its buttery, sweet flavor, its great digestibility, and it just has a beautiful golden color. Now, the downside of Einkorn, it has a weaker gluten, and so the dough can be stickier, you might have dense results. But here's the thing with Einkorn, it tastes like wheat has never been modernized. It just has a really delicious flavor, buttery, aromatic, and almost honey-like. And that's why people really love Einkorn, especially because of the digestibility. Yet, can you use it alone? Yes. It's just a little bit more dense, but you can use it alone. It's best if you blend it with a few others. Now, here's some combination options that you could do. 40% Einkorn plus 60% Spelt. Or you could do 30% einkorn and 70% wheat, and that would be delicious. If you haven't already checked out my book, Satisfied, Baking with Whole Grain Goodness, this is a book that is definitely a perfect gift for anyone who's getting started freshly milling grain. And it includes not only some of the teaching in the beginning about the value of real grain and how God created it, but it has some of my very favorite recipes for holidays, for every day. So many delicious recipes that I know your family's going to love. Please check out Satisfied, Baking with Whole Grain Goodness. All right, number 6 is rye. Rye is an amazing grain. It's a flavor powerhouse. It definitely has a distinct flavor and a distinct color to it. And yet it's also extremely healthy for doing your own sourdough and just making a really good bread. It has a deep, earthy, kind of a malty flavor. It keeps bread fresh longer, and it has an amazing aroma. Now, the downside of rye is it has a weaker gluten. It can be a little sticky to handle. It's more of a specialized dough. It takes a little practice working with rye, but nutritionally speaking, it's a powerhouse besides the flavor. Now, let's talk foodie talk. Rye delivers complexity. It's dark. It can kind of looks like a dark chocolate, molasses, and a touch of tanginess. Well, you put those things together and you have a delicious bread. Can you use it alone? Yes, for dense breads. It's best if it's 10 to 40% in a wheat loaf. So here are some combinations for you. Maybe 30% rye and 70% red wheat. Or 20% rye, 20% oats, and then 60% regular wheat. All right, grain number 5 is Emmer. So I don't really have Emmer to show you, so I'm just going to show my soft white here. But Emmer is rich, and it's ancient, and it's rustic. Now here's the good side of Emmer. It has that warm, sweet, caramel-like flavor. I know you got you hungry now, don't I? It's very nutrient rich. It adds a tenderness to your bread. Now the downside, it can be a little bit of a sticky dough. It has a low rise. If you're like, oh, my bread's not rising, it doesn't have that beautiful, magazine look, that's okay. It still tastes amazing. Use it alone? Not normally. It's best if it's blended. And the best combinations would be 40% Emmer and 60% wheat, 30% Emmer or 70% Spelt, another one of my favorites. Grain number 4 is Kamut. Oh, totally one of my favorites is Kamut, and it has a rich buttery grain with a luxurious crumb. Now, the pros of Kamut are it has a smooth, buttery flavor, which is why it passes for Aunt Jemima pancakes. Soft dough feel, it has high nutritional value. Now, the downside, it has a lower gluten than modern wheat. It's a little bit pricey. Actually, some of these are very pricey. Can you use it alone? Yes. But it's best blended with other grains so you get a little bit more height to what you're baking. And the best combinations are going to be 60% Kamut and 40% white, hard white. That is excellent. Now, sometimes I will do, this is my real favorite, is half Kamut and half Spelt. That's amazing. Or you could do thirds, Kamut, Spelt, and hard white. That is so delicious. All right, our next grain is Spelt, the one I was just talking about. And it's one of the friendliest ancient grains of wheat. Now, the good news about Spelt is it's sweet, has a nutty flavor, it's easy to work with, it has a high rise if you handle it gently. It likes to be handled gently. Now, it's very easy to over-ferment Spelt, and it has an extensible dough. So sometimes it's a little tricky, and it usually requires more flour than what your recipe may call for. But it tastes like a wheat with a drizzle of honey, kind of warm and mellow and very crowd-pleasing, totally. Can you use it alone? Yes, definitely. Yet, as I've already shared with you, it works well with in combinations. So if you did 50% Spelt, 50% red or white wheat, or you could do 30% Spelt and 70% wheat, or like I already told you, mix it with the Kamut. All right, and number 2 is going to be our hard red. Hard red is just a classic artisan grain. It is totally doable for anyone to start with. In fact, I had kind of moved to a different grain, and my sister was bragging about the flavor of her food. I'm like, oh, I better go back to hard red. And yeah, it does have a delicious flavor. So it's high gluten, has a strong nutty flavor, and has an excellent, excellent rise, which is why mixing it with some of the others can really help you out. Now, for some people, it can taste too wheaty. But here's the thing, hard red brings the flavor of true bakery loaf, really a bold, hearty, little bit slightly nutty. Can you use it alone? Yes, one of the best grains to use alone. Combinations, always. Any combination that you want to do. So you could do 70% red, 30% spelt, or you could do 80% red and 20% rye. Really boost that nutritional value. And then grain number 1 is hard white, the most versatile grain for freshly milled bread. And it's the easiest bread to start with. It has a little bit milder flavor. It has high gluten, and so it's going to give you the results you're looking for. And because it's a little bit mild, it's easier to adjust people to eating freshly milled bread if they're new to this. Perfect for sandwich bread. Most families love it, and as I said, it's the best bread for beginners. Now, the downside is it's a less complex flavor than red or some of the others. So your foodie take for this is hard white wheat. It tastes buttery, kind of clean, comforting, just like a fresh bakery roll. Can you use it alone? Totally. Best all-around grain that you can use. So easy to work with. It's very forgiving if you make a mistake. Can you do it in combinations? Oh, of course. Don't even not try this, but 60% white, 20% kamut or 20% oats, be delicious. 70% white and maybe 30% spelt. All right, so let's recap this. In 9th place is millet. All of these are good, but they have their purpose. Number 8 is oats. Number 7 is einkorn. 6 is rye. 5 is emmer. 4 is kamut. 3 is spelt. 2 is hard red wheat. That's the complete list. And if you're like, oh, I just wish I had that all written down, I've got a blog. It's all written in there. Everything I've just shared with you, it's in my blog. So check out the blog and the link down below. So here's the exciting part. The grains that make the best bread are not the grains that make the best muffins, biscuits, pancakes, cookies, cakes, or quick breads. Soft wheat, oat blends, spelt, einkorn, the ranking's totally different when we're looking at those type of results. So my next video breaks down the best grains for muffins, biscuits, pancakes, cookies, and more. And so be sure and check out that video. And if you haven't already, please hit subscribe and like so that we can make sure you're part of the Biblical Nutritionist family. And if you haven't yet checked out my 7 steps to amazing biblical health, please go to thebiblicalnutritionist.com. I so look forward to meeting you in person at one of our retreats. We are hosting retreats at churches near you. Make sure you've connected with our office to get your church on the schedule. We look forward to being a part of your family as the Biblical Nutritionist family. So thanks for watching and happy baking. If you haven't already checked out my book, Satisfied, Baking with Whole Grain Goodness, this is a book that is definitely a perfect gift for anyone who's getting started freshly milling grain. And it includes not only some of the teaching in the beginning about the value of real grain and how God created it, but it has some of my very favorite recipes for holidays, for every day. So many delicious recipes that I know your family's going to love. So yes, it does have the basic bread recipe, but it has many more recipes so you can extend your idea of baking with a lot of good recipes. Please check out Satisfied, Baking with Whole Grain Goodness.
Struggling with cravings, fatigue, or confusion about your health? You're not alone. But you don't have to stay stuck. Get the free Bible Health ebook and discover 7 powerful steps to real, lasting transformation God's way. Break emotional eating. Learn what truly satisfies. Align your health with God's truth. This is your breakthrough. Get your free Bible Health ebook now on the website, thebiblicalnutritionist.com. It's time to take the first step toward vibrant health, both physically and spiritually.